Your Honor.
Good morning, or afternoon, actually.
Afternoon.
No,
Sorry about that.
you're fine. I know you don't have any windows in that studio.
Yeah.
Not that I don't know that it would look any different in morning versus afternoon. It's not nighttime, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been a long day. We're in trial.
Yeah.
We're good.
All righty, Your Honor. Whenever the court's ready, I'm ready to begin.
And am I getting the nod? I'm getting the nod. Okay, we're ready.
All righty, Your Honor. This is Fadumo Ali, case 2A0492913, set for arraignment here today following booking on a warrant. Miss Ali, can I have you state your full name and date of birth for the record?
Dumo Ali, April 18, 1998.
And Miss Ali, you've been charged by the city of SeaTac with one count of driving while license suspended in the third degree. Did we get a chance to discuss that charge in the breakout room together?
Yes.
Any questions about that charge or the maximum possible penalty?
No.
Your Honor, we'd ask that a plea of not guilty enter in this case. Miss Ali, did we also discuss the rights you have during this process?
Yes.
And Your Honor, I did sign that with an X with her permission and updated address as well. We are prepared to address pretrial release conditions and bond when the court is ready. We are seeking direct appointment on this matter as she is presently unemployed.
Plea of not guilty will enter. I do find probable cause was previously found on September 7th, 22, and I will direct appoint. What is the city's recommendation regarding release?
Good afternoon, Cynthia Chenmiller for the city of SeaTac. Given the nature of the charge, and this was a missed first court appearance, no objection to release with standard conditions.
Any objection to standard conditions?
No objection, Your Honor, and defense also requests release.
Ma'am, I will release you on your promise to appear on condition that you attend all future court appearances, have no new criminal law violations.
Yes.
Update your address with the court and DOL immediately if there are any changes, and we'll note the new address from the rights form today. But if it changes, be sure you update it. And no driving without valid license and proof of insurance.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
You have access to a computer or a phone?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Okay, I'll set this for a virtual hearing then on August 31st at 8:30 in the morning. And that
Okay.
will be a Zoom hearing. And the Zoom login information is on the order.
Your
All right.
Honor, one note on this matter. I noted from your reviewing your ADR due to the nature of the charge, she has a UTC requirement that is a hold, and it's actually this case. I just wanted to confirm that if we have any paperwork that was outstanding, which seemed odd to me, normally I don't see the D3 holds, that it has been sent over and that can be provided to DOL, that she has addressed this here today.
Is it this or is it an underlying infraction?
I didn't see an underlying infraction, which is why I was thoroughly confused.
I see what you mean. I don't know. We're certainly clearing the FTA from this case now.
Perfect. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
All right, Miss Ali, remember what we talked about, call Department of Licensing, and if you can let the officer know we're ready for the next one, we'll begin moving.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Yeah, Madam Clerk, confirmed that she did remove the FTA when she scheduled the hearing.
Awesome. Thank you. And Your Honor, Coffin was a refusal.
I do find probable cause to detain. We will set this on for tomorrow. Bail, I'll set bail in the amount of $500.
And Your Honor, this is Mr. Daniel. This is de jure Daniel, case 3A0104733 on for pretrial here today. Maxwell Boltinghouse on behalf of Mr. Daniel. Your Honor, defense is going to be asking to set this over, and I couldn't remember if you guys did notice of hearings or pretrial commitment form or motion to continue for an in custody. We're asking to set this to Friday with either an excluded period or a waiver commencing at that next date. We are trying to explore a possible global with Federal Way Municipal, but we have not received a response back from their prosecutors, which I can represent is not uncommon. But he does have court in Federal Way tomorrow, so I think we can make some headway by Friday.
And I apologize, I missed the name. Oh, okay, got it. We usually just do a commitment order. When was he arraigned on this case? I'm just looking at what current speed he is.
Your Honor, the original underlying charge is 715. So even if I think he was arraigned on the 17th, so we have 53 days left of speedy trial left.
Yeah, is the city seeking a speedy trial waiver if we're just setting this over till Friday for resolution?
No, and S. remain at 10,000 cash or bond.
And that's granted. There's no. Probable cause was previously found on the 16th. Bail remain $10,000 and we'll see you on Friday. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And Your Honor, Mr. Coleman was also a refusal.
Did not see that coming. I do find probable cause to detain on the new case, and that's the case ending in 306. Carol, I'm finding by preponderance of the evidence, the conditions of sentence have been violated, specifically returning to the airport. And such that imposition of bail on the reviews is appropriate. And imposing bail in the amount of $500 each case.
And Your Honor, this is Mr.
I just need a
Jerry.
minute to fill this out. There are 1,000 cases.
Oh, yes, I apologize. I was focused on the arraignment for the day.
Oh, shoot. Do any of these have 2 counts? Yes. 046. And 559. What?
And the one that ended in the 17.
Oh, thank you. Just noticed that. All right, we'll see Mr. Coleman tomorrow. And I'm sorry.
And Your Honor, this is Mr. Jerry Moore, case Y22028982, set for arraignment following booking on a $2,500 warrant and a failure to appear at arraignment.
And go
I'm
ahead.
ready. Thank you, Your Honor. Sir, is your true and correct name Jerry Lee Moore Jr.?
Yes, sir.
And what is your date of birth?
3692.
Sir, you've been charged by way of criminal complaint in the city of SeaTac with 1 count of assault in the 4th degree as an act of domestic violence and 1 count of malicious mischief in the 3rd degree as an act of domestic violence. Did you and I have a chance to discuss both the charges as well as the domestic violence nature of the charge?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about what you've been charged with here today?
No.
Did we also discuss the maximum possible penalty?
Yes.
Any questions about that?
No.
And finally, did we discuss the rights you have during this process?
Yes.
Did you authorize me to sign that with an X for your signature?
Yes.
Your Honor, as to a plea of not guilty enter, we are not seeking direct appointment on this case as he does not have automatic qualifiers and would need to screen. We are asking to be heard of pre-trial release conditions and bond when the court is ready.
Plea of not guilty will enter. Probable cause was previously found on October 3rd, 22. What is the city's recommendation regarding release?
Given the lack of warrant failure to appear a history and that this was a missed first court appearance, no objection to release. Asking the court to find that the defendant does represent a significant threat to an intimate partner. City's asking for a pretrial no contact order in order to surrender firearms.
Any objection?
Your Honor, I would ask that the court consider not entering a no contact order. The basis for which is that Mr. Moore does ultimately share a child with some pretty significant health needs that feeds via a feeding tube. That is a young age that they do have shared custody of. While there is no formal parenting plan in place, they do co-parent at separate locations. They do not reside together. And so at minimum, defense would be asking for a carve out for electronic communication, and ideally contact for child exchange. Although I did discuss with him that could be accomplished through a third party as well. Defense's preference would be no entry of the order, however, because I do know that sometimes those carve outs can be difficult to address.
Does the city have any objection to that?
Not to the exception.
I'm gonna allow, if I can just spell it correctly. Oh, there we go. Contact allowed for purposes of childcare and exchange, electronic contact allowed for this purpose. I think that.
Thank you, Robert.
And so I take it then a civil standby is not necessary.
That is my understanding. Mr. Moore, we didn't discuss it as you indicated you don't reside with her. Do you have any belongings you need to get from her residence or anything or the nature of the location?
No, sir.
Okay. No, Your Honor.
Mr. Moore, I'm going to release you on your promise to appear on condition that you attend all future court appearances, have no new criminal law violations, do not own or possess any firearms. Part of the reason is I'm signing a no contact order. And while that is in full force and effect, you are not eligible to possess a firearm. Do you own any firearms, sir?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you can sign a declaration of non-surrender then. And have no contact with Reina Lopez, with the exception of electronic contact for childcare and exchange. And contact is allowed for the purposes of exchange. So in other words, swapping custody of your child. This court, the no contact order is this court's no contact order. It is not Ms. Lopez's no contact order. She cannot give you permission to have contact. It would still be a violation. Violation of this order is not only a violation of your conditions of release, but it's a whole nother crime. And you can go from a man with little criminal history to a lot of criminal history very quickly. And the third one's a felony. So it's very important that you abide by this no contact order. No contact means absolutely no contact other than what's allowed, that one exception for child visitation. And we will set this on for a pre-trial hearing on August 15th at 1:15 in the afternoon. And that's an in-person hearing in SeaTac Municipal Court. So you'll have to come to the courthouse for that hearing. And before that next hearing, you'll need to either screen for the public defender, which you can do on our website or by coming to the courthouse and filling out the form, or hire a private attorney or be prepared to represent yourself. And do you still receive mail at the address on Lincoln Parkway in Seattle?
No, Your Honor.
Do you have an address where you can receive mail?
Yes.
Is that updated on the rights form, Mr. Boltinghouse?
Your Honor, I've given the time constraints, I forgot that one. Sir, would you mind providing your address to the court?
Yes. 13227 Ambaum, AMBAUM Boulevard, Southwest, apartment 113, Burien, Washington, 98146.
Perfect. I've updated on this form. And so we will see you back here on August 15th at 1:15 in person. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Awesome. Your Honor, the next refusal I had was Damian Marble.
And I don't see an order in there. Are there any others so I can put them in orders in?
Damian Marble, Agoya Cook, Marshburn, and Prince. And
So
then when
Mr.
the court's
Marble-
ready,
Probable causes previously found on May 5th. We'll set this over. This is a pre-trial. I'm setting this for Thursday. All prior conditions remain in full force and effect. And bail remain $500.
and then we have Mr. Jones in score C or score C3 right now.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Jones.
Hello. Hello.
And Your Honor, this is case 3A03-12329 set for arraignment.
Go ahead.
And sir, is your correct name Deshaun Lalonzo Jones?
Yes,
And what is your date of birth?
7/13/72.
And sir, you've been charged by way of criminal complaint with one count of criminal trespass in the first degree and one count of making false statements. Did you and I get a chance to discuss those charges and their possible penalties together earlier?
Yes,
Do you have any questions about what you've been charged with or those possible penalties?
yes, I have questions, but because can I explain?
Do you want, sir, all I'm asking is, do you understand what the charge is itself, not whether or not you agree with it?
Yes, I guess.
Your Honor, thank you, Mr. Jones. Your Honor, we waive formal reading and advisement, acknowledge the city's demand for jury trial on the complaint. As of a plea of not guilty, enter. I did review the rights with Mr. Jones on that matter, and we would be seeking direct appointment based on his financial status, as he would automatically qualify. And I am prepared to address pretrial release conditions and bond when the court is ready.
Plea of not guilty will enter. I did find probable cause to detain on the 23rd, and I will direct appoint. Mr. Jones, did you have a question that you'd like to ask Mr. Boltinghouse?
Who's Mr. Bolton?
He's the attorney that was assisting you.
He said, what did you say? He was gonna try and get me PR or something.
Right, but do you have questions about the nature of the charges or your rights?
Oh, no,
Okay,
no, that.
okay. What is the city's recommendation regarding release?
Defendant does have very significant warrant failure to appear history. City believes a high risk of future failures to appear. Also, the city believes the defendant is a high risk of disruption administration of justice, given his history of non-compliance with court orders and his resistance. And I wouldn't necessarily say violence, but his aggressive stance toward law enforcement.
Is the city
of
aware?
harm conduct.
Is the city aware of anything since 2019?
Not aware of any history other than what is showing.
Okay. Mr. Boltinghouse?
And Your Honor, I think the court's kind of alluding to what one of my major indicators would be is for somebody that has significant history like Mr. Jones does, we don't see violations for a 4-year period. For someone that has clearly gone through the connections with the legal system that Mr. Jones has, I think that's an indicator that he is doing better than he had in the past at maintaining law-abiding behavior, which I think would go directly towards the ability to abide by court conditions. I'll certainly acknowledge that he does have order violations and some history of that nature. Although I would ask that the court give Mr. Jones an opportunity to demonstrate that the last 4 years are more like what will be happening in the future, as opposed to his time before. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Jones, I'm going to give you one chance to appear out of custody. So I'll release you on your personal recognizance today. Your next hearing will be August 15th at 8:30 in the morning in person in SeaTac Municipal Courts. You'll have to come to the courthouse for that hearing. Conditions of release are that you attend all future court appearances, have no new criminal law violations, update your address with the court and DOL immediately if there are any changes. And the address we have on file is on North 78th Street in Seattle. Is that still a good mailing address?
No,
Do you have anywhere you can receive mail?
yeah, it's 77 South Washington.
And I think that's 90104. Use only your true legal name and date of birth. And do not have any contact with SeaTac International Airport or the rental car facility except for valid travel purposes. So unless you have a ticket to fly somewhere, you cannot be there. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, sir. We'll see you back here in a couple weeks.
Okay. So I did.
You're getting PR'd, sir.
I'm going home.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Is Christian Arvizu?
I was able to speak with him. He should be our last.
So while we're waiting for that person, Jasmine, Oyoko, Camille, Marshburn. We'll set over until Thursday. Probable cause was previously found on the 24th on both of these. Or all three of these, rather. And bail remain, I think it was
100 on each of the 3 charges.
thank you.
Hello,
Hi, Christian.
hi,
We'll be right with you, sir.
yeah,
All previously imposed conditions remain in full force and effect. All right. Thank you for your patience, sir.
And Your Honor, this is Christian Arvizu, case 3A0572890, set for arraignment here today. Sir, is your true and correct name Christian Arvizu?
yeah,
And what is your date of birth?
it's August 30, 99.
And sir, you've been charged by way of criminal complaint from the Port of Seattle with 1 count of criminal trespass in the 1st degree. Did you and I get a chance to talk about that? Pardon me, as well as I thought there was 1 count of theft.
There is.
Yeah, sorry, it was not pop. There we go. And theft in the 3rd degree. Did you and I get a chance to discuss that charge together in the breakout room earlier? Christian, did you and I talk about the 2 charges you are facing?
Yeah,
Do you
Sir,
understand?
Sir, are you in a good place to be doing this arraignment today? You feeling
Yes.
okay?
yeah, I feel okay.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Boltinghouse. Sorry.
No, it's fine, Your Honor. Christian, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes,
Did we talk about the possible penalties also?
yeah,
Do you understand what those are?
yeah,
Your Honor, we'd acknowledge receipt of the city's demand for a jury trial on the complaint. We ask that a plea of not guilty enter on both charges. Mr. Arvizu would qualify for public defense, and we are seeking direct appointment. And we ask to address pretrial release conditions and bond when the court is ready.
Please, if not guilty, will enter. I do find probable cause to detain as to both counts and will direct a point. What is the city's recommendation regarding release?
Given the defense warrant failure to appear history, the city believes the defendant is a high risk of future failures to appear and is requesting bail in the amount of 500 cash or bond, 250 cash or bond each of the two charges. Had no contact with SeaTac International Airport or rental car facilities without valid travel purposes, and no contact with the Alki Bakery in the SeaTac International Airport. Apologize, I didn't see it earlier, but I and I can send a follow-up email for future hearings. The city is going to be requesting that the review matter 380341880 POS track.
Yeah, if you could send an email, that would be great.
I certainly will, yes. And one of the conditions, in that case was no contact with the airport. Given, that probable cause for defense violation of that order and his history of violations of court orders, the city also believes the defendant's at, high risk of non-compliance with court orders.
No, I won't violate a contact order.
Mr. Boltinghouse, any objection to those conditions?
Your Honor, no objection to the non-monetary conditions. I am going to ask that the court consider giving Mr. Arvizu an opportunity to demonstrate he can appear out of custody. I was looking at his warrant history versus his criminal history, and I think they're both a little bit deceiving from one another. Mr. Arvizu, while he does what appears to be a significant number of warrants, they appear to only be from 6 dates individually. And when compared to the number of criminal charges Mr. Arvizu has had, I do think it does demonstrate that he actually, more often than not, does not issue a warrant. I was just going through on the no contacts orders alone, and I think most of them come from the same dates that he failed to appear. I would also note that Mr. Arvizu does not appear to have had a criminal conviction since 2020, possibly 2019, other than the earlier SeaTac criminal conviction we had for criminal trespass in the first degree. So he did have some period.
Well, there's also there's one from 21 in Federal Way.
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor. I read that as the 2020 date. I got that on. Alternatively, we do have a 2-year period because the 2022 charge is ultimately dismissed, where he is seemingly during law-abiding behavior. Mr. Arvizu did indicate to me that he can appear should the court give him that opportunity, and asking to allow him to demonstrate it, as he has no ability to post and does not have any family members that would assist him in the process.
Yeah, because I have never had the opportunity to be released before once like this.
Well, the problem, Mr. Arvizu, is you are on conditions of sentence right now, not to go back to the airport. That was the order by Judge Wu when you pled guilty to the last charge, and yet you were arrested at the airport. This is the problem. That combined with your history of not abiding by court orders, as evidenced by your multiple convictions for no contact order violations, I do feel that you will not return to court or abide by this court's conditions. So I'm going to impose bail in the amount of $500. That we can set this over till tomorrow.
Thank you, Your Honor.
But yeah, I can go back to court. There's no reason for me to run away, I'm not a criminal.
Well, your history says otherwise, sir. Do you still receive mail at the address on 12th Street, Court Northwest in Puyallup?
No, I've been homeless for like 3 years.
Do you have anywhere you can receive mail?
No,
Okay. Well, when you get an address, please update it with the court.
yeah. But I would really appreciate if I could have the opportunity to demonstrate that I can come.
Sir, I've already made up my mind. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Okay, so then our last matter is Kevin Prince.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. You can tell the guards you're done.
Thank you, Christian. We'll see you tomorrow, okay?
We'll work out our Zoom issue tomorrow, and we'll have Zoom open at 11 for you, Mr. Boltinghouse, to talk to people.
I appreciate it. Sorry for,
It was a miscommunication that I think Nelda misunderstood and thought that you were at score, not
Ah.
ready for score.
that would have been quite the commute where I'm at right now.
Yeah. Yeah, she didn't know that you'd already left the state. Okay, on Kevin Prince, we'll set this over. This is the second refusal in this matter. I'm setting this for Thursday.
Understood, Your
Probable
Honor.
cause was previously found on July 24th, maintaining that finding. And bail remained $1,000. Was it, who talked to the jury, as far as you know?
Christian, you can head on back.
Okay, thank you. I'm going back to trial now.
Thank
All right.
you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Sorry I couldn't get you out.